Good afternoon. Welcome, bienvenue, willkommen. My name is Kelly Lamb. I'm the Vice President of Marketing here at Miele, and welcome to Miele Live. We're here as many of you are safe in your homes with your family, and we hope you continue to remain safe. But in the meantime, many of you have actually contacted us, whether you have existing products that you have questions about, whether you're inquiring about services that we continue to offer during these unique times we all face, or some of you are interested in buying some products from us but just have a couple of questions before you decide to buy. So with Miele Live, we hope to be able to answer all these questions for you. It's a new service we're offering here in Canada in order to overcome some of the challenges we're all facing, again, in these unique times around the world. Miele Live will happen several times a week with different sessions a day, and we're going to cover a wide variety of topics, from Miele's well-known dishwashers, how to best load your dishes, how to get the best cleaning performance, to our laundry machines, which detergents to use, how to best clean your down jackets as you get away from winter. We have our vacuum cleaners, which is the best vacuum for you, and our large range of cooking products. Pour ceux d'entre vous qui demandent pour des sessions en français, on travaille actuellement pour avoir des sessions pour les semaines à venir. These sessions with Miele Live are completely interactive, and we're going to try to make them as personal to you as possible. Many of you have already submitted many questions for us, and you can also interact with us live by submitting questions two ways, via your YouTube account or also on mielelive.ca in the comments box at the bottom. You can register and send us your questions as we go through today. In these times, we also have various services available to you, so be sure to look at miele.ca for the latest information. To end today with our last session, and some of us are at home, love our coffee. What's the best way to have it? Well, I have our product expert, Dean, with me today. Hey, Dean.
Hi, Kelly.
And we're going to cover our built-in coffee machines in this particular session.
Yes. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thanks, Kelly, for the introduction. Really happy to be here and so glad that everyone is able to join us online today to talk about one of my favorite categories here at Miele. And this is, as Kelly mentioned, these are our built-in coffee systems that we're going to be talking about today. So at a time when many of us are spending time practicing social distancing, spending time in our homes with our immediate family members, coffee is one of those joys in life, those simple pleasures that really bring members of the household together for quality time. So I think this is a particularly relevant time to talk about coffee. I think it's something that we all enjoy, especially as we look forward to our weekends. So without further ado, I wanted to start off just giving you an overview of our product. So within our lineup of coffee machines, which you'll find on miele.ca, these built-in machines, we have a selection of 4 different models. Right now, what you're seeing in front of me is there's 2 different models on display here. So the one that we have at the opening price point, it has some controls up here with some buttons along this menu bar, and that is one option. The ones that we're seeing up here, these ones have our M-Touch premium control, which is an LCD display. It's a touch screen. So I'll show you how you can navigate that, but it's very, very easy. It's all about touching, scrolling through the screen to make your selections.
And I think for our customers that are out there that are familiar with our built-in products, the coffee machines line up exactly with that. So if you're familiar with our M-Touch from our ovens or steam ovens, if you're familiar with our Sensitronic user interfaces also from our ovens, which Dean talked a bit about earlier, it'll be the exact same thing for you.
That's right. There's a lot of consistency across the lineup in terms of M-Touch appliances. So it's going to have a very similar look as well as user interface and functionality that you'll be familiar with if you have some of our other appliances in your kitchen. So our built-in coffee systems are all German engineered. They're manufactured in Switzerland to very, very high standards of performance, as with all Miele products. And they're designed and they're very rigorously tested in order to last the equivalent of 20 years of usage in your home. So this is truly an investment in your enjoyment of coffee, and you can really feel confident that you're going to have a machine that's going to really stand up over time in your home. So what I thought I'd do is I'd start off by showing you inside the machine. And the inside of our built-in coffee machines are all essentially the same across all of the lineup. So what you see inside this machine that I'm going to open here is going to look similar on all of our built-in models. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to open up a Miele patented comfort door. And one thing that you're going to notice about Miele built-in coffee machines, if you compare them to other built-in coffee machines on the market, is just how accessible everything is on the inside. So you can see it's just simply, it's almost like opening a refrigerator door. I just open up the comfort door, and inside, what you'll find here is different compartments that I'm able to pull out. So I just easily can pull this out. This is the hopper where all of the whole coffee beans will go. This particular hopper will hold 500 grams of coffee bean. So in comparison, if any of you joined earlier this week when we covered the countertop coffee machine lineup from Miele, those have a maximum of 300 grams of coffee beans. So this is going to be 500. So that is one of the benefits that as we go through the inside of these built-in machines is the capacity for them to hold coffee beans, water. You're going to be able to hold more than you can in a countertop machine. So this is where the beans go. And you'll see there's basically 4 different compartments. This is the water tank. And one thing to note is that on our highest end model, which is the CVA 6805, it comes in 2 different colors. It comes in our stainless steel as well as our brilliant white versions. And those 2 models, what's special about them is you're actually able to have them plumbed, which means that while they will come with this water container, you have the option of actually having a water line installed when you install the machine. Therefore, it's going to make it even more convenient because you're not going to need to fill the water tank. Over here, the 3rd compartment, this is going to be your bin where the coffee ground pucks are going to drop. So after the machine prepares the coffee and it's ground up the bean and created a puck, which the water then passes through in order to make the coffee beverage, the used pucks are going to drop into this, this container. And you'll just be able to simply pull this out just like I did and dispose of those pucks as this fills up.
And I think the great thing about all of our machines is it's relatively intelligent that if that container actually fills up and needs disposal, or if you're not plumbed and you need water, the machine will tell you to empty the waste container or fill water as required.
That's right, Kelly. So the machines are very, very smart, and they're going to guide you through if any kind of maintenance needs to be done in terms of refilling coffee beans, emptying the waste container. It's going to prompt you. So by all means, it's very easy to access all of this on the inside, so you can check whenever you like, but the machine's also going to prompt you to make sure that you do it if it needs to be done. And lastly, just a matter of convenience. And this is just, I think, a small example of how Miele's product designers have really thought of everything. And so what they provided here is a compartment that has just a simple little storage tray here. So you'll be able to keep some of your essentials here, perhaps some descaling tablets, cleaning tablets that we'll talk about when it comes to maintaining the machine. Perhaps your coffee scoop could go here as well. So just nice, easy storage inside the machine as well. So that's a little bit of a tour of the inside of the machine. Moving over, we'll use this demonstration model here, which is a live model actually, and speak a little bit about the programming. So Miele machines are very, very sophisticated when it comes to the programming. And one of the things that I think is most amazing about them is the ability to set up individual profiles in this machine. So that means that if there are multiple coffee drinkers in the household, which many households have, since coffee is so popular,
yep.
Every person in the household can have their own profile. They can name the profile by their name or whatever they would like to call it. And within that profile, all of the many drinks that you can make with a Miele built-in coffee machine, they're going to be able to set customized parameters for each of their favorite drinks, and therefore when they come and want to make their drink, it's going to make the drink exactly to their specification. So it's really, Miele is all about looking at how can appliances be used to produce the absolute perfect outcome.
And I think it goes to also the focus on personalizing. You know, I think it keeps a lot of peace in the house that everybody kind of has their own drink.
Yes.
Nobody's arguing about, I like my espresso this way or that way. Really, everybody can have their own. So I think that's a great added feature for the machine itself.
For sure. So you might be wondering, so what types of coffee drinks could I make with this machine? Is it just going to be espresso and Americano? I'll give you a sense of exactly what you can make because it's quite an impressive list. So as you can see, I can just, with this M-Touch screen, I can just scroll and select a multitude of different coffee beverages. So options that I have available are espresso, coffee, lungo coffee, cappuccino, latte macchiato, cafe latte, milk froth, hot milk. One of the really special things about a Miele machine is you might think this is to be used only to prepare individual servings, but that's actually not the case. One of the distinctive features about a Miele coffee machine is that we have a feature called One Touch for Two. And what that allows you to do is produce two beverages, two coffees simultaneously with a touch of one button. So that's a really special feature. And perhaps you have a large, busy household where there's several coffee drinkers and you're going to want to make a pot of coffee. That's also a possibility. So not only can you make a single beverage, two simultaneously, but you can also, and I'm just going to grab here, you can also have a Miele coffee pot or your own coffee pot, and you can produce a pot of coffee up to 8 cups. So that's also a really great feature.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the One Touch for Two is, again, going to convenience. If you know that you need to make 2 cappuccinos, so that works for both milk drinks as well as non-milk drinks. I think that's a great convenience feature, again, to have.
For sure.
Easy to use. Good.
Some of the other great features, so you're going to be able to have timers on this machine. So on our countertop coffee machines, we offer 1 timer, and on this machine, we actually offer 2. So these timers allow you to do things like schedule when you'd like the machine to turn on and to pre-warm in order to be ready at a particular time during the day to produce coffee. You can also use the timer to schedule when you'd like the coffee machine to turn off, and you can set a specific time, or you could also schedule it to turn off after so many minutes after producing a coffee beverage. So lots of flexibility there in order to make sure that the machine is not turned on for an extended period of time when you're not using it.
Dean, going back quickly to the profile question, maybe if we can talk a little bit about when we say set a profile beyond what drink type, what are some of the other parameters that customers can actually then play with when they set up their profile?
That's a really great question, and I think this really, when I go over the parameters and what you're able to control, it's just going to show how customized you can make your coffee drink. So first off, one of the parameters is actually a mechanical adjustment, and that is the fineness of the grinder. So right here where we were showing the bean hopper, just below it, there is this, this dial here, and it has 5 different levels of fineness that I'm able to have the bean ground at. So if you're wondering what is it going to do to your coffee beverage if you were to adjust the fineness of the grind, the finer the grind, the more intense the coffee taste profile will be of the beverage. So if you like to have a very strong taste profile to your coffee, then you'll want to move that to a fine grind, and you can always adjust that to make it more coarse if you prefer.
So as we said, this session is completely interactive. So Dean preempted one of the questions from our viewers, was asking exactly that, is what will happen with the taste of the coffee if the grinder is set to fine versus coarse? So that's
So that's just one of the things that you can adjust. But when it comes to the programming, there's some other great parameters that you're able to adjust as well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to my screen here, and some of the other parameters that you're going to be able to choose. You're going to be able to adjust how much volume of water your coffee beverage is produced with. So that way you'll be able to match the volume with your favorite cup, for example. So that if your coffee mug, because there's so much different variations and different sizes of coffee mugs, you'll be able to match it. Also, you're going to be able to adjust the temperature. Temperature, is definitely something that people have.
I think it's so personal.
Very personal preference around. Yeah. So you're going to be able to adjust that up or down. You're going to be able to adjust. So we've got temperature, we've got volume. You're going to be able to also.
There's the pre-brew.
The pre-brew, exactly.
Long or short?
Yes. Yep. Thanks, Kelly. So with the pre-brew, what that does is it's also going to impact the intensity of the flavor profile of the coffee. So you're able to choose whether you'd like it to pre-brew. And if you do, then you're able to choose whether you want it to be a long pre-brew or a shorter pre-brew. So lots of customization in our machines. Yep. I thought one thing I'll just touch on is also another really big advantage that people love about their Miele built-in coffee machines is just how easy they are to maintain. So I think it's important that we are upfront and explain that with any super automatic coffee machine on the market, there is going to be some maintenance involved, but Miele has really thought about how to make that as easy as possible. So there are 3 different care collection products that you'll want to have in your home along with your built-in coffee machine. And those 3 items here are descaling tablets. And so this is for descaling from caused by water hardness. We've also got cleaning tabs. These are for cleaning the brew unit after it's been used time and time again with coffee beans. And finally, we also have cleaning agent for milk pipework. And so this you will only need to use if you are using your machine to produce milk-based beverages. So the nice thing about the machine is it's very smart. It will prompt you whenever you need to use any of these products. In terms of how often it might prompt you, so if you are making milk-based beverages, then the cleaning agent for the milk pipework is going to need to be used once per week. So if you were to produce a latte today, then 7 days from now, it's going to prompt you that you're going to need to, by then, have used your milk pipework to clean the milk pipe. In terms of the descaling tablets, this will depend on, first off, how often you're using your coffee machine, but also on the water hardness in the community you live in. And all of our built-in machines come with a testing strip. So if you're not quite sure the water hardness in your area where you live, you'll be able to use that test strip to determine.
And once again, you've preempted a viewer question because somebody had pre-sent in a question about how to best determine water hardness levels, so
awesome.
That's perfect.
Great. I'm glad we're covering some of the hot questions. Absolutely keep them coming. This is really why we're doing these episodes, is to answer those questions. So I'm really glad we're covering some and happy to answer some more. Also, in terms of the cleaning tabs, how often for this, the machine is going to count 200 servings of coffee, and it will then prompt you to clean the brew unit with one of the cleaning tabs.
Perfect.
So that's the maintenance. I think that the first time you go through it, the system not only will prompt you when it needs to be done, but it's actually going to walk you through step by step exactly what to do. And I think when you have finished the first time doing the maintenance, you're going to find it very easy.
Yep. And there's also the auto rinse that actually happens with the machine. So in the case where Dean was talking about you're doing milk drinks and you use that about once a week, thereabouts, the machine will auto rinse itself every night after you shut it off.
Yes.
At time of shut off. So that's also a convenience that you don't need to worry about anymore.
That's right, yeah. It's doing some of that work for you even. So Kelly, I thought we could make a drink just so that we
I'd
can
love one.
see.
It's about 5:20, and I need something now. So.
I thought so.
Thanks.
So let's make a cappuccino, if that sounds good.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Now,
great.
Dean, before you make the drink,
Yes.
sorry to be a little picky.
Yes.
I like my cup warm.
Oh, okay.
Is that possible?
Absolutely. So what you'll notice here, and this is a really nice touch, so if you're doing some renovation planning for your kitchen, this is something that you might really want to consider. Right here we have a cup warming drawer. So this is a separate product from Miele, and in here I've got a whole selection of espresso cups, cappuccino cups, and what I'm able to do here is I'm able to pre-warm them. So for those that really enjoy coffee, one of the real key secrets to producing a perfect cup of coffee is making sure that the coffee is received into a warm cup.
Well, because I to be honest, when we talked about temperature, I love my coffee hot.
Yes.
And if no matter how hot the machine gets the coffee itself, if the cup is actually cold, I'm going to get a cold cup of coffee. So for me, I know I love that feature.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'd love a drink.
Great. Okay. So if I'm going to make a drink here, what I'll do, it's very, very simple. So in this case, I'm just going to press drinks. And I pull up my full menu here of drinks. And I'm just going to scroll over to the drink that I'd like to make. And I'm going to make a cappuccino.
Perfect.
And before I hit that, I just want to point out, above each of the drinks, that's where you're going to see that one touch for two button. So if I want to make 2 cappuccinos, in this case I'm just going to make 1, but if I did want to make 2, I would press the one touch for 2 in the upper right corner of my drink selection, and then choose my drink. So I'm going to make a cappuccino here, and it's that simple. I just press one button. One of the really neat things about our built-in machines is that the dispenser here, it can sense the height of the cup, and so it came down to the absolute perfect height in relation to the height of my cup.
And it also, I think the other part that's amazing about that, it also knows that if it's making a drink that requires some foam, it knows the height adjustment necessary to account for the foam, so it actually doesn't touch that as well. So
that's right, and it's thought about everything in terms of the height to make the absolute, perfect result. Also to minimize spillage or splashing as well. So it's really thought a lot about that height. And up here, it's got a little bit of a countdown, so you have a sense of how long it's going to take to prepare the drink. So it started out with the milk, and now it's dispensing the espresso.
And if you have guests at your home, this is the best thing to make it look like that you worked really hard to make the perfect cup of coffee, but Dean kind of showed you how easy it was. So.
And here, this is the milk flask. So it's a nice glass milk flask that comes with all of our built-ins. You're able to store this in the fridge, which is great. The glass part of the flask is dishwasher safe, which is great. And so I'm just going to set this over here for after our segment for Kelly.
Thank you. And Dean, for the milk flask, can you maybe, is it easy to pull out, or is it tough to pull out from that position? And I would assume it just goes in the fridge when I'm not using it.
Yeah, so it's quite easy. It just slides in and out here. So this is what it looks like. Now, this particular flask, we have it fairly full of milk. But what you'll notice when it's empty is that there's actually some sensors, some prongs that go down in there. And what those are doing is it's actually helping the machine gauge how much milk is still in the flask so that it can prompt you if you need to refill your flask.
And you said the glass part is dishwasher safe?
It is, yes. Yeah, so
Perfect.
the glass piece, as well as a lot of the inside pieces are all those plastic components and containers we were showing. A lot of it is dishwasher safe.
Dean, can we maybe just stop for a minute to take one question since we were talking about maintenance? So Teresa, who's watching us, hi Teresa, has a question. What other maintenance should we be doing on a daily basis, aside from the milk pipe work cleaning, the descaling, other cleaning than the drip tray?
Yes.
That's in there.
Yeah, so in terms of other maintenance, so that's kind of the main maintenance you're going to want to do. But other things that you can do as well is, So in terms of the coffee grounds, you can just rinse this. This is dishwasher safe as well. If I remove the various components I have here, one thing I haven't shown is the actual brew unit. But the brew unit can also be rinsed. And so that's this machine here. I'm just going to take it out. So you can see just how accessible this is. This is not something you'd want to put in the dishwasher, but you can just give it a general rinse as well. So the machine will let you know when you have to use the cleaning tabs to degrease it. But if you want to just really keep the inside of your machine nice and clean, by all means, there's nothing harming the machine in terms of giving this a rinse under the sink.
Well, and I think the good thing is, to your point to our customers is reality is you do have to maintain it, but how easy it is and accessible the pieces are, it's not that difficult to actually pull out. So I think that's a great thing. I think Teresa had the question about the drip tray, Dean. Do we want to just quickly show where the drip tray is and kind of its purpose at the end of the day?
Sure. So we can just lift this this piece up here. This is where the cups would rest, and the water will just drip down in here. It's very easy. Any kind of excess water, any rinsing, it's all going to be collected into the drip tray.
And you can just take the drip tray out and empty it in the sink.
Yeah, very easy to empty as needed.
Dean, I know a lot of people are using our machines at home that have it for dinner parties, and sometimes you have a couple of guests, one guest, two guests that want a decaf or want a flavored coffee.
Yes.
Is that an option in the machine itself without actually having a separate bean container? Which is one option, but...
Yeah, so it is definitely an option. You're able to use ground coffee as well. So that is an option if you like to use that. The other thing, and I think this is kind of a little bit of a good segue in, but over the past year, Miele has launched our own coffee bean to go with our machines. And we actually offer a decaf whole bean that you can use in the machine. So that's definitely what we would recommend if you're a decaf drinker. That way you're going to get a really freshly ground coffee versus using a ground coffee. But by all means, if you have your own ground coffee, you're by all means able to use it in the machine.
Yeah, and it goes inside really easily into the single scoop
yes.
part of the machine, so that's easy to do. Okay.
So a little bit about our coffees. This is something we're really excited about. Our coffee partnership is with a German private roaster that's very reputable and has been in the business of roasting coffee beans for many, many years. So we're really excited about this partnership. And we've brought to the market and launched 4 different SKUs of coffee that are available for you. And so just to kind of go over them, they're all organic, Fairtrade coffee beans. Mm-hmm. And if we go through the different options we have a bean that's especially designed for espresso. So if you're drinking a lot of espresso beverages, then this is going to be a great bean to go with. We also have a café crema variety. This is going to be a little bit of a lighter profile of taste. Mm-hmm. Great option, very popular. We've got, as I was mentioning, the decaf bean, and finally we have the one for all. So this is going to be a little bit more of a full-bodied taste profile. The bags, they're all 250 grams. So as I was mentioning, our hopper is 500 grams. So by all means, it's going to fit the bag. I would recommend, though, depending on how often you're consuming the beans and going through coffee, right. It's best to still store it in the bag and to just have a few days at a time inside the machine. So
Dean, I know a lot of questions we get from customers around, obviously there are many other bean options out there for customers, but are there specific beans you would say that we really wouldn't recommend customers use based on the performance of the machine? Mm-hmm.
So the one thing that's important to know is that the machines are not designed to use a flavored bean, because flavored beans, for example, like a hazelnut coffee bean, right. Would be coated in a sugary coating, which doesn't work well with the grinder. And that's really actually not even just a Miele specific thing, but with all of these super automatic coffee machines, you want to stay away from any kind of flavored bean. But aside from that, you have full freedom to explore and use different fresh roasted coffee beans.
Yeah, because I think we're very lucky here in Canada, whether Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, Calgary, there's so many unique roasters out there to try their beans, but certainly from Miele's standpoint, we can give you an option for the bean. And one thing, to explain a little bit about coffee beans, and it's something that you may want to consider when you open your next bag or buy your next bag is, typically when you look at the ingredients, the longer the list in some cases, if you're buying other things, other grocery things, may not be the best because it has a lot of other products, chemicals in there. But in regards to coffee, actually, it's a bit of the opposite, is the more information a coffee bean gives you, a coffee bean roaster or brand gives you, actually the better it actually is. So next time you're out there shopping, that's just something to look for is, again, the more information for coffee beans, the better it actually, the coffee bean actually is. And I think, Dean, to your point earlier, with flavored coffee, people do like flavored coffee, but I think that's where, in our machines in regards to the where you can put your single ground scoop of coffee in there, that's perfect. So we do have an option for those that love flavored coffee, because some people do at the end of the day.
That's a great point, yeah, because if you're going to if you go with the option of putting a scoop of the ground coffee in, you're bypassing the need to grind it. So that's a great way around it if you do really want to have a flavored coffee.
So Dean, before we wrap up, there's some more questions coming in, so maybe we can tackle that.
Sure.
So Balraj out there who's watching us, I bought all Miele kitchen appliances and need some training how to use especially the coffee machine. What options do we have for you?
Sure. So I am hoping that perhaps some of your questions or things that you were wondering about the machine, hopefully we've covered some of that today. So that's one option. The other option is to go on to Miele.ca. So our website has a lot of information about our products, including our coffee machines. So definitely a great resource for you. The other option is that we are always here for our consumers and always wanting to help support you with using our products in your home. So by all means, do not hesitate to reach out to us. Despite the situation with COVID-19, we are still available and here to help you. So please reach out to us. On Miele.ca, you'll be able to get our contact information.
Yep, and specifically actually as part of this, as some of our retail partners are closed, as our Miele Experience Centers are temporarily closed, we've also launched an additional service called the Miele Personal Telephone Product Consultation. So as Dean said, again, if you go on Miele.ca, you can actually request an appointment there, and we'll actually have a product expert be able to walk you through on telephone. Another option is, I believe Dean will be returning next week for another session of Miele Live, where we're actually going to focus on one specific model and do a bit more of a deep dive into usage, and hopefully we can answer really more specific questions. We can actually show you specifically how to set up profiles. And if you have, again, Barraj, if you have any really specific questions, send those questions in ahead of time. I believe we're actually releasing next week's schedule, or we already have. Sign up for that, send in your questions, and Dean will be sure be able to answer those questions on camera and actually show you how it works. So those are kind of the different options we have out there. So as we wrap up the session, there are more questions. Again, I would encourage you to send in. We will try to answer, again, through the comment section. We'll respond to you via email as well, as our time's kind of running out here at the end of the day. But just to recap, right now on Miele.ca, there's a lot of information, as Dean said. We have the personal telephone product consultation. Just go on Miele.ca. Somebody will get in touch with you. That'll be available in English and French right now already as it is. We have more live streaming sessions coming to you next week specifically on coffee. We also have some live cooking demonstrations that we're going to be introducing next week on Miele Live. Dean, what else do we have for people out there who've watched us today?
Yeah, so we really appreciate you joining us today. And so what we want to offer is a special promo code on our Miele coffee beans. So the code here is Miele Live Beans 15. And if you go on to Miele.ca and place an order for our coffee beans, you'll receive a 15% discount over the next, I believe this code is good for the next hour. So just something special to offer you because we really appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah, so that's available until 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. You would enter the code at time of checkout, and it really is exclusive for you that have taken the time to join us this afternoon for this session on coffee. Again, Miele.ca, if you're interested in buying not just our coffee bean products, but many of our other products, Miele.ca is available 24/7 to you. You can also place your order during one of our telephone product consultations. So our team there will be able to take an order over the phone for you. And again, many different offerings available right now. We also have on our Miele shop an e-gift card, a Miele e-gift card. So I know we're all stuck at home, or many of you are stuck at home right now, being safe, but we also have to make sure that we try to continue to live our lives, celebrate, and so if you need a gift idea, the Miele e-gift card is also available on Miele.ca for you to share with friends and family. So Dean, I want to thank you for your expertise.
Thanks, Kelly, for having me.
Dean will be back for sure next week, and we're going to cover specifically in more detail the product for coffee and how to set up profiles, how to use. So be sure to join us. We wish everybody out there an amazing weekend with your family. Remain safe at home. And again, feel free to reach out to us. Go to Miele.ca. It'll tell you what services we're still offering in regards to our technical service if you need help with existing products, our installation services, our delivery services. We are ensuring our teams remain safe, as well as we will ensure that our consumers are safe as well. So once again, thank you. Have a wonderful weekend, and hopefully you'll join us next week for another Miele Live session.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.